Good night. It is Monday. I think it's April 26th. We're still in the beginning of spring. Good night, good night, good night, and welcome in. Hope everybody is doing good tonight and you're tuned in. So we're making sure that, you get a minute to come in live. And thank you for joining us. Now, if there's any problems tonight with Facebook, I heard sometimes Facebook has been having some problems today. You jump over to YouTube and get yourselves ready. Hope you have your snack. Hope you have your water. Get yourself. Well, today it's kind of chilly in Toronto. You might need a warm throw. Grab a notepad. I always say you never know when those wisdom keys are gonna drop. Oh, and caring is sharing, and sharing is caring. So be sure to share with your friends and get ready to engage. We're listening to the beautiful sounds of Calabash. It's a Toronto Caribbean jazz band. And you know what? It's so perfect today because, we're going all Caribbean on you today. So, welcome to the Victory Speak Show, Inspired Conversation series where iron sharpens iron. That's you and me sharpening each other. And I am your host, Nicole Waldron, your voice of victory and your mental fitness coach. And I'm on a mission to inspire you to live a life of victory, a victorious lifestyle. You see, we all need to mind our minds as we cultivate a victorious mindset. We have many conversations all the time good, bad, funny, you name it, we have it. And this is a place where I can share some of those inspired conversations with you from the various people who have inspired me along the way and from around the world. I want to curate inspiring conversations with successful everyday experts and thought leaders that will empower us to live a victorious lifestyle. And today's guest is one of these women. Brenda Foreman is a certified image consultant, personal brand specialist, and entrepreneur. And for over 20 years, she has successfully helped people be their best selves as a celebrity. Oh my God, a celebrated voice for diversity in North America creative communities. Her professional experience has always been inspired by a passion for her business heritage, philanthropy, and the arts as CEO and founder of BStyled image management firm and high-end retail and rental service Mavazii, and partner and creative director of African Fashion Week Toronto. Brenda's lifelong ambition is to return to St. Kitts Nevis with her knowledge from the industry and experience for a new generation of women in business. Currently in development is a passion project that will focus on leadership in business education and entrepreneurial training for young people. As a global thought leader, she strongly believes that nationals living abroad can be a great source of wealth to their home, nation's economy, and growth. Brenda was recently appointed as the new Honorary Consul of St. Kitts and Nevis in Toronto. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome with your hearts, your love, your care, the wonderful, the fantabulous Brenda Foreman to the victory stage. Woo!
Well, thank you, Nicole. It is a
The
pleasure
crowd
to
is
be
cheering. The
here.
crowd is cheering. The crowd is cheering. They're happy to see you. They're happy to see you. And I'm so happy to see you. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. It's such a warm welcome. I feel right at home, man.
Well, we are at home. Isn't that funny? We are at home. You feel at home.
You
We are
know,
at home. Hey,
no pun
Sarah. Sarah's
intended.
joined in from Ottawa. Look at Sarah from Ottawa. Those of you who are live and on YouTube, we welcome you. Tell us hi. Let us know where you're from. Wendy is here from Toronto. Drop it in the comments. I can't see where you're from on YouTube if you don't put it on there. So let us know because we want to acknowledge you and we want you to join the conversation. Keisha Wind, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you have a question for our new Honorary Consul General of St. Kitts Nevis. Woohoo! I'm so excited. My friend. Okay, I want her autograph right now. Hey! Okay, I think I cried
Oh,
when I
you're
got
too
the news.
much.
I cried when I got the news. I'm just telling people I cried when I got the news
Oh, you
because
too.
it was a victory for everybody. Ebony, welcome, welcome, welcome. So now, Brenda, we're in this pandemic. It's the third lockdown. How you making out, my friend?
Wow. Well, it's the cost of creativity. It's
Mm,
and it's okay, you know. It's been some weird blessings along the way because it's afforded me the opportunity to spend some real quality time with my children. You
mm,
know, we've been together, we've talked a lot. We hung out, we've slept in, we've worked together, we've done so much together, and I think I've gotten to know them all over again. I've had the opportunity to work alongside them. So while they're doing their homework, I'm doing my homework. Whereas before I'd be coming home late and I'll be checking, did you finish your homework? How was your day? Da da da. Along, so you know, I've been there at times when they really needed me. So in a way, it's we've made the best out of it, and we're continuing to do that, right?
awesome, awesome. How many children do you have?
I have two beautiful girls, they're teenagers, 16 and 19.
You have
So,
young women.
and they're really good.
They
Yeah,
really, well,
yes,
they
yes.
listen.
I
Look
am
who's their
blessed.
mom. Look who's their mom. Look who's their mom.
Aw.
Well, for those joining us live now, I see Ebony's from London. We got Toronto in the house. And Keisha's
Oh,
already dropping some comments. I agree, Brenda. Spending quality time with my son has been a blessing. Yes, spending the time with our
yeah.
children is such a blessing in this. It's one of the opportunities in the crisis. Oh, you're getting
Mhm.
love. They're giving you your flowers. Give her flowers, my God. I love Brenda,
Oh,
says
oh,
Sanjay.
Sinaj, thank you.
Sinaj.
I love
Sinaj.
you too, girl.
See? The love. Keep giving her the love. We want to give Brenda all the love we can.
Yes.
So, what lessons have you said you've learned from the pandemic since you've been in it? You're spending time with your loved ones, with your children. But what lessons have you learned personally for yourself?
Personally,
Yeah.
to live every single day as if it was your last.
Woo! Yes.
I mean, I dance, I sing, I laugh, I cry. Don't get me wrong,
Mm,
because we've done a lot of that. But when we come out, we realize, look, just how lucky we are, right? There's always food in my fridge. Thank God. You
yes.
know, my kids, they're really good people.
Yes.
I realize just how blessed I am by some of the conversations I have had with them. Like when we talk about, you know, life and their personal, you know, what their struggles and what they're going through, even with school. And I'm thinking, wow, you guys have a head on your shoulders. You're
Right.
smart and you've got good hearts. You worry about other people. And that to me is like, it's a gift. It's amazing gifts. I mean, I just give thanks because it could be a lot worse.
Mm. And the fact that you see it, and I love the fact that you're consciously and intentionally spending extra time with them and having those conversations you didn't get to have before. And
Hmm.
that's powerful, and I think even Sarah is agreeing, and so is Joan. But Sarah reiterates, live every day as it's your last. And I love that because sometimes we so can get, and we were so, reminded strongly by the passing of the 13-year-old in Brampton, Ontario today from last night from COVID, that there was a 13-year-old who passed away from COVID. And, that's one of the things that people don't realize that life, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and we
Exactly.
have to take this pandemic very seriously. How has it affected your native land of St. Kitts and Nevis?
I think it's affected everybody globally,
Yeah.
but the people back home, I think I've seen the same thing. They've come together. I realize they're helping each other. I think there's more conversation. Mind you, economically speaking, it's gonna hit everywhere, like it's hit
Yeah.
there because we are our main source in the economy is tourism. So
Right.
obviously we're affected, right? Because there are no cruise ships coming in, there are no planes
Mhm.
landing, the island was closed for a while, but it we are coming through, and we're learning, like I say, to persevere. We're learning to live off the land. We're learning to grow vegetables again. Agriculture is booming. So there's so many things. I guess everyone's pivoting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that is a huge pivot, I think, when we look at everything else, the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. What was growing up like in St. Kitts for you?
Oh, I loved it. It was, I come from a very close knit family.
Hmm.
And I had my grandmother and my mother and my aunts and uncles all living in the same household, right? So I got to have that time with her. My mom, when she was working, I spent most of my time with my grandmother, and I got to follow her. It was like, that we have these little things to say, she's under your skirt. I was like under my grandmother's skirt all the time, everywhere she went. I learned from her. I watched her. I sometimes went to work with her, in the summertime, and she was a laborer as well. Um, and the sun and the beaches and the churches, everything was family. Everybody did things together. We weren't wealthy at all, but I realized after leaving there, we were wealthy. We had a love. We had, like every other family, you fight, you go through stuff, but we always came together and helped each other. Um, One of the times I remember the most is during a hurricane season. Most people are scared of that time, but I look forward to that time. You know why? We got to stay home. We got all the kids get to stay in the house. We get to, be late at night, and everybody would come and, huddle. The winds were howling. Parents were freaking out, but we didn't know there was any
Any danger?
danger. We just figured it was fun,
Yeah.
and there were times where some people would lose the roofs of their houses. They would
Hmm.
lose their homes, depending on the houses, because there was serious threats happening out there. But what made me feel like I miss home sometimes is everybody in the community got together and they would rebuild that person's home while that person lived. Like my family, my
Yeah.
uncle would live there, and we'd all rebuild and fix that. And then we'd move, then the next people would rebuild. Everybody always shared. We helped each other. We spoke to each other. It was always good morning, good afternoon. It's changed quite a bit, you know, but it's
Mhm.
still very friendly and open and loving, my
Yeah.
home. That's part of what I miss so much about being from a small island.
And you talk about your grandmother, and you said being under her skirt. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about that, because your grandmother sounds like a really enterprising, um, that grandma. What was living with your grandma like?
She had an iron hand. Like, she was tough. She was short, little bit woman, we call them, but she was tough. She had 6 children on her own, and she did. You said, okay, first of all, you used the word enterprising.
Right.
Back then, I didn't see it that way. I just saw she was a
Okay.
survivor.
Right.
She, for example, I give you an idea of what a day was like. She used to be a laborer in the field. She used to cut cane because our primary produce at the time, export, was sugarcane, right? And this is before tourism and all that. We exported sugarcane. So most of the people in the island who were laborers or what with their hands worked in the cane fields. She did that. Then in the evening, she'd come home, cook, get the place together, and we had a small little 2-room house. And when she was done that, the food was ready. She would get herself ready and go to a little place we call it upper ground. We call it ground, with an area where we'd have community gardens. That's what we call them here. But
Right.
she would grow her vegetables, a potato, yam, all the stuff, right? She would sow, she would reap, and then she'd come home. On her way home, she may find some things that, depending on the season, could be guava season, amongst in the mountains, because this is in the mountains she's going, which is about a half an hour walk from our house. So if she find almonds or guavas, whatever, she'd collect them for sale on the weekend, or she'd find almonds and I would help her. I don't know if you guys have these in Trinidad, but these little things, we call them almonds, and you would take stones and pound them out
Yeah.
and make them into sugar cakes. you know, she'd always find little things to sell to add up, basically, right?
Right.
So that's her daytime, and then let's say on a Friday night now,
Wait, wait, wait,
uh,
wait. All that was one day, Brenda. In one
all
day, she
one
did.
day. She would do about from morning all the way till night. There was always something, right? And everybody would chip in and do things. But I was
Right.
always with her. I'd always like go with her. I'd help her sow when she's planting. I'd help her, do all these little things. But then it depends on the time of year. There were different things that she would do. So, for
Right.
example, let's say she decided that it was crop seed. The crop was in for yams and potatoes or whatever. It's time to reap. So let's say on a Thursday and Friday night, we'd go up, get the stuff, dig them up, get the bags, and our uncles would come, put the bags on their head, bring them home. We'd get them home. But guess what? On a Saturday morning now, at let's say 3 o'clock in the morning, she's up getting ready to take those things to market, right? So she's doing that. We sell. I'm with her. I'm making change. I'm watching her work. And then on the way home, she would do the exchange because things has changed a little bit, but we used to have a market and it's still there, but it's not used as much.
Hmm.
And we'd have different stalls, right? And different people sell different things. So sometimes when she doesn't sell certain things at the end of the day, when it's time to go home, which is not the end, by the, let's say 11 o'clock is the end of her day, because we're there from 5, right? And she would exchange something for peppers or for scallions or whatever, and then the fishermen would come in with their fish across the street from the market, so she'd save her provisions to do that with the fishermen, right? So she'd pay them, or sometimes she'd exchange,
Yeah.
because back
Yeah.
then you could do everybody would,
The
so
bartering. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, we do the bartering, and then she'd still have to pay. Then we get the fish. She would take that home. She would always get fish for us. I always look forward to Saturdays. But you'd always get extra fish to fry and sell. So on a Saturday evening, after she's done all this, we go home. What she has left over, we have for the week. And don't forget, again, another thing that I love about a small community is they shared everything.
Right.
So when she got her
Right.
crops, before she even went to market, she would tell me, I'd be dropping stuff to all the neighbors. Drop this over to Miss This, drop this to that one, drop it, do our bundles, and then we know what we're selling, we know what we're keeping. And she's keeping track of that. And she's doing that. She did so many things. And she was always selling something and making something. In this day and age, you would say she'd have 6 or 7 businesses, right? Because you'd register, but it
She
was
had the
like,
six or seven streams of income. Oh my
yes,
God.
but we don't know that then that was a
Yeah.
business. It was just a hustle. It was just a haggle. It was just building and making what you have and turning it over. When you get something, you turn it over. That's why she said, I have to turn this over. I make this, I've turned it over to that. And once she realized that I could make the change and I could count, I became my job. Once she realized that I could help her with the fish and fry, then that
Yeah.
became also my job to fry the fish. And then she realized, well, so there was always, and because of where we live too, for example, we live right in front of my school. So um, during the day, she would make sure she has stuff ready for the school children to come home. When they come home for lunch, they could come to her and buy something that she's made for their lunch, right?
Wow.
So she
Wow.
always found ways to survive. And I think I took a little bit of that from her because it just became innate, I think. And we have the same birthday, we're a week apart. We're very similar. And she was a good woman, but she was tough, but she was kind. She was, I mean, I remember her to this day. My eldest daughter remembers her. My youngest didn't know her. She died before she was born. But I always talk about her because she taught me a lot. She'd always say, "Take the." One of her favorite sayings was, "Grab the lion by its tail." In the education, when you speak about going to school and keeping it in your head
Hmm.
and learning as much as you can, she would say, "Brenda, go to school, learn everything you can, and grab the lion by its tail. Because if you grab the lion by its tail, it can't hurt you. You're gonna always win." I never
Wow.
understood that, but I do now.
That is so powerful. What was your grandma's name?
Adina Percival.
Adina
Everybody called
Percival.
Adina, yes. And they call her Dinah, but everybody knew her in my little community. Yeah, she was.
We honor her today because snap, crackle, and pop. Geez, I feel like I need to go reimagine my life again because I realize like I need to get up earlier and do a little more. So would you say that the way that you grew up with your grandma and your mom helped you to be the woman that you were today? What were some of the things that you gleaned from them that you've taken in from then to now?
never giving up,
Mm.
um, always respect your neighbor, always share what you have, always help when you can. Because when you're helping somebody, you don't always have to expect something in return. Because guess what? Your blessing is going to come from so many other places, right?
Yes.
And she taught me that you don't have to be rich to share and to give. Whatever little bit you have, like for example, when I said when she brought her provisions in,
Mm-hmm.
she calculated what she could sell, but she always took a little bit out for the neighbors or for her friends or for whoever I had to go drop the bundles to before we even went to market. You see what I mean? And we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of anything. But I didn't even know it back then. I was just, I got my candies when I wanted. I got to, when she's frying a fish, I get a little piece. There was always something,
Yeah.
you know, break this, taste it. How does that taste? Everybody share whatever little bit they had. But she always pushed you to do better. Always push you. Learn how to do this. Learn how to cook. Learn how to clean. Mop. If you don't do it, you're in trouble, mind you, because she's tough. But she was there. Yeah.
I mean, just listening to the story of your grandmother and what she did and the innovation and the creativity and her passion and the way that she lived life. I mean, it is so inspiring. And I'm seeing the hearts and the thumbs up going up on Facebook and stuff. Be sure to drop in your comments so I can share them with Brenda so she can know what you're thinking. And thank you for sharing hearts and comments. Now, so when you talk about, you have this passion for business and heritage. So now that all makes sense because I'm seeing the root was deeply embedded in family. And what is that beautiful thing about St. Kitts Nevis, that heritage that you love so much?
I can't even tell you. It's just home.
Yeah,
I came here at a very, very young age, and I've wanted to go back so many times, but I always stayed. I went back. There were times I'd be home, and I still say home, by the way, even though I live
yeah,
here.
yeah. I noticed it, but it
Sometimes
is home for you. Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
We have a saying, that's where your navel string is buried, and
Mm,
that is where you always go back.
that's
My
good.
children are here, so I'm here. You know, um, what makes it home is the food, the feeling, the energy. I can't even explain it. When I get off a plane, I just feel different. When the
Yeah,
door opens on the plane, you get that warm air that floods your nostrils, and it smells like ocean. It smells like salt because it's a small island. We're
yeah,
surrounded by ocean.
yeah,
And as soon as I get off, I'm like, yes, I'm home. And I know, well, now it's a little different. My mom replaced a lot of things my grandmother would do.
yeah.
But every time I'd come home from, on my, when I was studying and I'd go home at the Christmas vacation and in the summer, I'd always get coconut dumpling and mackerel.
I've never had coconut dumpling, not coconut drops, coconut dumpling. You said?
Coconut dumpling.
Oh
Yes,
gosh.
that is one of the, trust me, she grated the coconut, mix it in with the flour. Oh my God. And every time she know I'm coming home, I know that's what I'm getting when I get off the plane.
Oh
I'm
my
telling you,
gosh.
they're little things. My mother makes different things now. Sometimes she does the same, but it's just a feeling of home,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? I mean, I
yeah,
have two homes now.
yeah,
When you have an adopted family, you sometimes you have, if you've been adopted by a great family, you still love that family, but you
yeah.
love your original
Original
family
home. Yes,
the
yes.
same or more, right?
Totally. So I'm just saying, when this pandemic is over, you know where we're heading, right?
Yes.
We're heading to your home. I might have to adopt that home. I got a shout out to you. Shout out to Miss Foreman, a lady of many talents from Nicolette Bryan.
Oh, hey, Nicolette.
She's on
She's
YouTube.
amazing.
And Ebony says, funny in Ghana, we bury the umbilical cord at home so we can always turn. Wow, I never knew that, Ebony.
You see
You
that?
see?
You see how connected we are to the continent as a people?
Wow.
We do so many things. That's why we say when you bury a navel string, you always come home. And when back then, when the baby was born, you always buried the dried, when it's
Yeah,
done. maybe that's okay.
So now you see, so we learned something here tonight. So we see where
Yes.
the custom, the tradition has traveled from. So,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Fashionista, okay? So
You tells me that.
you know, you came here at an early age. You're
Yes.
doing your thing, but when I met you, you were doing fashion and this
Hmm.
stuff. Where did you get this love of fashion from?
I don't even know. I used to read a lot as a child, and I always looked at stuff in magazines and books, and I liked looking at myself in the mirror a lot. Didn't have a big mirror back then. I always passed where I liked myself. I like, and I don't know what happened. It's just as a young age, we always tried things. My
Hmm.
mother learned to sew because like I said, at that time we didn't have a lot. So
Hmm.
she used to make these little dresses for us, and I would help her, stitch the arms, stitch the hem, and maybe that's where it came from. She'd like we'd have a school uniform, we'd have a church dress, and sometimes if the sports day or something happening around carnival season in St. Kitts and Nevis, when carnival season come, everybody has a nice new dress to go out, and we want to go out and go do things, but we may not be able to buy things. So she made these things for
Right.
us. So I would help her pick the cloth. You know, I'd say, I want this one. I saw this little girl, she had on a dress like that. Can you make that for me? And you know what I mean? So maybe that's where it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but it sounds, you know what, it's those little things that get into us. And so
mhm.
with that fashion, you become an image consultant. How did you even get into becoming an image consultant and a brand specialist? Well, we know how you became an entrepreneur because definitely that's the grandma. That's your grandma. We're giving her her props today. We're paying her homage for
Thank
embedding
you.
that in your mom, embedding it in you, and I'm sure your kids are going to follow suit. Um, Oh, wait. Ebony says something here. Hold on. She hides her model pics. Ebony, what are you telling me here? She modeled? Yes. I know she has done the catwalk. We've gotten her in, the cut and style fashion show doing some stuff. But the model pics, we're gonna have to talk about that, Miss Brenda. What's this about modeling I
like
hear?
like I say, I've done many, many things. My path has not been straight, and my careers have been, they chose me. A lot of
Hmm.
what I've done is been by necessity. It's not so much a choice, believe it or not.
Mm.
Um, when I was in high school, all through school, my friends would want me to help them get dressed. Be going out. Let's find something, and I would be the one to help them figure out what they're wearing. Sometimes I'd cut their jeans up, give them a new outfit. Sometimes I'd change the skirt. Sometimes, and the next thing you know, five of us we're ready to go out. We look good on a budget.
Hmm.
Or if they go shopping, I would help them do that. And when I started university, I decided to do a job in retail part time. And that
Right.
job was always there. Whenever I came home in the summer, that was the job I went to. On the weekends, and that took me all the way through. And I enjoyed it. I like serving people. I guess it was innate. I love the colors. I like putting things together. So that with helping my friends and people calling me all the time to help them eventually led to that, because in that retail business and in the industry, it got to the point where certain clients would only come to me for service.
Oh.
So if I wasn't in, they would make appointments because they wanted me to serve them. So I got a client list. There was no such thing as styling back then that I knew of. I just knew that they wanted me. I got my commission because they were going to come and they were going to spend quite a lot of money, and they're going to want me to help them because I was honest with them. I didn't sell things to people just because it was a fad or it was in fashion. I sold it to you because it's something that worked for you. And some clients I know have some of their outfits years later. But to become an image consultant wasn't part of my plan. That happened when I became a single mother and I couldn't hold a job because my youngest was always ill. I was always calling in sick. I was always late. I lost one job after another. And I had to make a decision yet again. Should
Mm.
I pack up everything? I'm going through all this mentally. My children are going through so much. We recently separated and they are emotional turmoil everywhere. Should I
Right.
just go home? The plan was I was going to pack everything. I'm going to go home. Or start again. If I went home, I was always afraid of failure. Go home. What am I going to do there? I don't have anything. I'm coming home with a single mother with two young children.
Hmm.
I have to start over. I don't know. The support system wasn't there the way I would have wanted it.
Right.
And every time I prayed, I got answers. One of the answers came where somebody told me that I could get help. Register for something called Ontario Works. I'm like, no, hell no. I've been working since I was 13 years old. I could do this by myself. Da, da, da. But I needed help. They had something called a self-employment benefit program back then,
Yes. Yes.
where they helped me. I found a place. I went back to certify. You know what I mean? I started as this new business. I said, I could start my own business. Do you have a business plan? They helped me write a business plan. Wrote this business plan, and I went back to school again. Then I started.
Wow.
At the time, the thought was still in the back of my mind to go home because I said, no, I could go home and do something. But people like,
Yeah.
people in Vegas don't do that. People in Nevis don't do that. When are you going to get a job, right?
Yeah.
And there were personal family issues at the time. I had a family member who needed help and he needed to come. So I had to stay. I stayed. I started to go to school during the day and I worked at nights so that I could, you know what I mean? So I worked at Tim Hortons, by the way, at 11:30 shift, and I lived across the street. So I left my brother at
Wow.
home with the kids, and I'd finish
Kids.
7 o'clock in the morning, get them home, get them ready for school, getting the breakfast. Then I dropped them to school. Then I would go to school, and I slept maybe
When did you
3 hours,
sleep?
about
3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah,
Wow.
3 hours, and then I get an hour before I go to sleep. When I put the kids
So you were
down,
trained. You were trained by your grandma. You were literally trained by your grandma to deal with that kind of. Look at that, because she showed you that she was getting up at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and going, going, going. It was embedded in you from young. Keep
Mhm.
going. I'm just loving. I'm just loving the connection of how your life has transformed. You're going to school. You go to work. You're going to school, and keep
Mhm.
going.
And dealing with the kids, they were good. I had to find ways again because I got a strict budget. I couldn't babysitting was hard, right? So that's why there were some angels in my life.
Mhm.
There was every time I talk about the story, I'm looking for this woman. There was a woman in one of the daycare centers who always opened early when I started my courses early. She didn't have to be there that early, but she came a half an hour early so I could leave my kids so I could get on the
Wow.
bus to get to school, right? And I'm like, something simple like that, people think, why? But to me, that was huge.
Huge. Yes.
That's huge for her to go out of her way so that I could go because I know our exams are coming up.
Mhm.
The kids, I have nobody to leave them with in between. If I miss that bus, that was it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get to school and I'm going to miss it. Like there were things that some people would do back then that I can't forget. And that's why I try to be that light for somebody else because I know where I was,
Yes.
right? And I know how that helped me. I have a list of things and people I'd like to look for now that I can go and if I could find them, to find
Mhm.
ways to help them if I could, you know? But I think I strayed again. I keep straying.
No, you didn't. You didn't stray. I think we
The
just need to. You
conversation
need
of
that
me
listen. We
starting,
just
and
need to
that's how
put it
I
out there.
started being a stylist. I decided to start my own business. I registered as an image consultant. At the time,
Why did you go quiet, Brenda? You still there?
okay, yes, I am going to,
Okay.
if it's okay.
What just happened?
um,
Something just happened.
so where did I? So when I started the business as image consulting, I had
Yeah.
a little bit of a community helping me. I had the program
Right.
behind me. I learned, I went back, I did, like I said, I did business courses. I got certified, internationally certified. I did the psychology of color. I did psychology because that went on with the past psychology that I was studying before. So I started combining it all. And I realized that if I got international certified, I could work anywhere in the world. And that way I could register a business. I learned about taxes. I learned about how to run it, how to balance.
Right.
And I'm sorry,
No, keep going. Keep going. You
we're
learned to do
glitching.
taxes.
Okay.
Are you? Yeah, you learned to do taxes.
Um,
Just keep going. Yeah.
I did all of that in just to balance myself because I can't afford people to do, any to pay
Right.
anybody to do these things. My children became a part of my business because I couldn't afford babysitting. So they went everywhere with me. I don't know if you noticed back then, I had my babies any event I went to, community event,
Yeah.
photo shoots. I bought them coloring books. I bought them anything while I worked. Sometimes I'm on set for 9 hours and they were good. I thank God that I had quiet, attentive children. They weren't loud. As long as they had each other, they stuck together.
Right.
Sometimes they fall asleep. My little one would put her thumb in her mouth and she'd curl up with her sister. Then I'd feed them. And then sometimes I'd go home and we start all over again. So they got to see what I did in everything that I planned, all my business, everything. Right. So now they're doing their own thing. But it was hard. It was a struggle in a lot of areas. There's so many areas that I wouldn't touch, but eventually I guess we could talk. But I learned perseverance,
Mm.
right? I learned I have this habit. I hate quitting. I hate starting something and having to say I didn't finish it, and that was the problem, right? There's so many times, like I said, I wanted to leave, I wanted to go back, and there was always a reason that I didn't. And I would go, and then I would come back. And then times I went home, and I would miss the flight coming back because I just didn't want to leave, right? But I came back. So I was, living in both worlds,
Yeah.
toggling both worlds. But once I had the children, I had no choice but to stay
To
because
stay. Yeah. You just
although
have
I
to just
wasn't,
settle down. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not with their father for a very long time, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to pick them up and relocate and then them not having a choice if they wanted to be
Hmm.
with him. I think they would hate me. I always had this thought in my mind. I don't want to do that to my children. I want them to have that choice, know that he's
Yeah.
there. And I stayed. And I made a commitment that I would stay and I live here and I do the best I can wherever
Yeah.
I live, while I'm here. And when they're on their own and they're ready to live their lives,
Then you can go wherever you want to do, and they're basically there because they can come with you now with a lot more difference.
yes,
They
they
probably
can.
enjoy some kids. Yeah, they can.
And don't get me wrong, they come with me. They've
Yeah.
been home with me. They come with me every time I travel. Well, not all every time, but almost every time. That is their second home. They know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. You are an immigrant as well. Like we migrate, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we have that. You have even the way you speak. I hear the tuning in your voice all the time.
Especially when I talk to you, and especially when I talk to my Trini friends. It just comes out when you talk to your kinfolk. It just comes out. It just really
Hmm.
comes out.
You're
I
comfortable.
Nicolette says, I appreciate the transparency, Brenda. There are many women in our community who are just like Brenda. We definitely need to give them their roses. And we're giving you your flowers today
Thank
because
you.
not many people will be so transparent and honest about the journey. And knowing that, you have to humble yourself. And we live in a country where you can get help. The names may be called Ontario Works, it may be called whatever else, but you can use it to give yourself a hand up and not be, and not just sit there. And you show that you went to school and you did so much. And
And
these women always figure it out no matter the circumstances. You know what? We've had to become resilient, especially as women. We've had to become resilient. And when I listen to you and the journey, I'm so inspired, and I'm sure many are inspired listening here. So be sure to drop your comments or any questions you have for Brenda. If you're live, if you're on the replay, we'll try and come back to the show. But if you're live, you have the opportunity now to be part of the conversation. So you've started your B-styled image management. What is that?
well, it's in broad terms, personal management of your image. I help people create their public image to give them an edge, whether you want to further yourself in your business, whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, whether you just want a better you. I align myself with other people. Like I've got nutritionists that I would work with. Some people need help physically to get themselves in shape, and then I dress them. Some people need help mentally. So I align myself with physiotherapists, psychotherapists. We form a group and we build, and that's called, and we brand. We help a person to brand. But I go a little bit further than that because where I started was a start over when I did this. And before I started over, I used to wear the most expensive of everything, name brand of everything, designer, everything, because of where I was. It wasn't by choice. Again, it was life. And that's where it led me. And I was having a great time. But then I realized I had to represent myself going out there. And I couldn't afford what I wanted to buy. But I realized there were places that I could afford these things. You know, thrifting is what we call it right now. I became the expert in that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
became, I would find the most luxurious pieces. I would dress my children from head to toe, me and them looking. Everybody thought we spent so much money on our clothes because we always look good. I became more creative. Everything I do, I had to be creative
Yeah.
as. And that's where most of my clients came from. That same area that I had to start over in, where I had to learn all over again how to live, how to spend, how to build. These women that I started to style were a part of the same system. You know,
Mm.
for example, that same Ontario Works, we had women
Yes.
who would come through and they would get a small stipend to start over and have to buy a suit, you know, um, or clothing for their new careers or
Yeah.
when they chosen career path. And I decided, you know what, I could create a program and I could help them with an entire wardrobe for next to nothing by showing them how to shop on a budget. And
Yes.
that was how BStyle started on that level, that grassroots level, because of
Wow.
my experiences, right? That's when it, I mean, I branched out corporate. I went to different levels. I started to style, I mean, politicians, diplomats, everybody. But when it came right down to it, I taught women how to recycle and upcycle. And I still do it to this day. I refuse to spend what I used to spend on clothing because there's no need. I had to
Yeah.
find ways to make $200 last me and buy my children clothes, buy me clothes, buy food, pay rent. I'm saying
Yeah.
200, but you know what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
get,
Yeah.
I
Girl.
get.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some tips? What are some good tips that someone can do to just upstyle? I like that word, upstyle your wardrobe, especially in
Recycle it. You
yeah,
you recycle what you have because if you buy quality, when I say quality, I mean I like classic pieces. For example, something that's simple and the color that works with you. And again, a psychology color is something else that I work with.
yeah,
But if you have a natural fabric that's cotton, 100% cotton or 100% whatever, that will last as long as you take care of it and you wash it. But
right.
guess what? And you clean it and the way it should be. Now, that same thing, if you've gained weight, if you've changed style, you could rip that apart and change it over, add a skirt to it if it becomes short. You could, for example, jeans. I've had jeans that I've turned to skirts. I've cut it down the center. You know what I mean? I'm not a designer, but again, you have to recreate. I
Yeah.
go into a store like, you ever heard the saying, one man's garbage is another man's
This is another
treasure?
man's definitely.
Well, that's what I
Yes.
had to learn. And I realized there was so much waste in this world. There were people throwing things out, and the landfills were getting so full. Like, this is another one of my passions is why do we have so much waste? We don't
Yes.
need to. I mean, I'm humble and I don't care. I don't have any problems going into a store like Value Village and shopping. That became my
Yeah.
staple.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
huge amount of clients because some people didn't want to walk into these stores, but they wanted to find what I found. If you look at my photos over the past 15 years, most of what I'm wearing are recycled clothing. Used some of them are vintage because I love vintage. I like
Yeah.
stuff that were well made, and I find the things that were well made and real are old, often
Mm.
old, and that's why I guess I was dubbed the environmental stylist for so long because I worked with the environment, I worked with recycling, and I was told, and I could say it now, that I could make something that was $10 look like $1 million
You
based on
sure
how.
can. You sure can. Just saying. Yes.
So that's all of that made me into the image consultant that I am today, I guess. Yes.
And I love that. And I love the fact of repurposing the clothes. I remember They were friends of mine. We used to do swap. And I think, we need to find a way to do a virtual swap.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find that virtual swap where, we used to come together and we brought the clothes that some things still had tags on it and the purses. And you know what was beautiful about the swap? You knew that, oh no, this would look good on Brenda. And then, but if there was that war where two people wanted the same thing, the woman in the room would say, okay, listen, let's just see it and see who this is going to really work better with. And we were just changing up stuff. And it's so
Yes.
good and it builds community. And there's such
Yes.
a love, it's just a love clothing. And there's no shame in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no shame in the game. And we have to take away this shame of when you have to go somewhere and and do something, repurpose your clothes. If you don't like it anymore, it doesn't fit anymore, you bought it, you loved it, you wore it once, somebody
There's
else is
nothing
gonna
wrong
love it.
with it. There's
Nothing.
absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I don't understand. I think that's part of our culture was always looking at what the Joneses have and wanting to
Yes.
compete. But once we come right down to the point where we realize, guess what? The Joneses are not spending what you're spending. That's why they have the car in the garage and that's why they have that house.
Come on now.
Right? You
I'm just
want
gonna
to
say what Star Jacob says. Love you.
hi Star, yes. I love her. She's another person who loves St. Kitts too. I say St. Kitts a lot because that's where I was born. But this
Yes.
St. Kitts and Nevis is two
Nevis.
beautiful islands. I'm telling you, I'm selling because guess what? I want the whole world to visit.
We're coming. We're coming. Listen, we're going to arrange a tour. Joan Pierre says, I love your warm, caring spirit. Shines through you always. Now I see where you got it from. Yep, we're seeing it.
Joan is so
We're
sweet.
seeing her roots. We're seeing her roots. So now you're styling, you're doing your stuff. And stars like me too. Yeah, we're all going. We're planning a trip from now. We're planning
Oh
for
yeah.
2022. We're going.
We're going around the time when there's music festival or carnival, and I'm setting something up. Trust me, we're serious. We're
I am
taking names.
serious.
We're taking names, and we're gonna have tours. We're gonna have gatherings. We have barbecues by the pool. We're gonna just, oh,
Okay,
we get,
so
well,
we're
Bill,
gonna
that's another
we're gonna do
conversation.
okay. So no, the victory tour is coming to St. Kitts Nevis. We're putting the island on notice, and we're gonna do a victory tour in St. Kitts Nevis. We're gonna get the tourism industry back up and running. Okay, I'm ready for this. That's on my vision board. It's not even on
Yes,
my bucket list. It's on my vision board. I'm putting it
yes,
there as we're finished tonight. So now, oh look at Miss Joan Pierre. She's jumping in here, taking a trip for the music festival for real. Yes, we're going, Joan
yes,
Pierre. We're doing that. We're
yes,
doing South Africa with Rami. Oh no, we're going. We're traveling.
yes.
We're traveling. So African Fashion Week. How did that come to be? How did you get involved with this?
Another step in evolution. A group of us, and Ebony was on here too.
Yes.
Uh, we always complained about not having a seat at a table,
Mm,
not seeing ourselves where we want to see ourselves as a people, or models, or makeup artists, or designers, or clothing. We couldn't find the things, and we talked
mm,
about this. So a group of like-minded people, individuals, all entrepreneurs, all doing different things, came together and created something beautiful. Right? This is a social platform. It's not just
mm-hmm,
a show. It's a social platform that
mm-hmm,
is aimed at making a change,
mm-hmm.
right? Imagine you've got somebody, and mind you, no funding, right? You imagine you have somebody who does marketing, somebody
Right.
who does styling, right? Somebody who does creative in other ways, somebody who sings, somebody who does marketing. I said marketing already. Somebody who does the branding,
Yeah.
somebody who does PR. Come together and do something, right? And fight for it. So I like to say, when you don't get a seat at the table, you make your own table.
You make your
Somebody
own
said that. I
table.
got it from, yeah.
Yep.
But this is where it started. And I wonder if she's on there still. But anyway, there's we worked hard for a number of years. It's been eight years now that
Wow.
these group of people work to bring this amazing thing to life.
Mm-hmm.
It is so well done with the hard work, right? That everybody's put blood, sweat, and tears into. Me being the stylist, became creative director because I came up with ideas of, how to pull things, how to make a simple room look like a palace, how
Yes, you
to
do.
style the
Yes.
clothes on the runway, you know, how to just, I mean, and that, we wear many hats. That was just one
Yeah.
of the hats. Um, Isaac is here, Ebony's here. Like, there's so many things. I don't even know where to start, but that's where the platform is. Now with COVID, the pandemic, I say the name,
Yeah.
is another chance to pivot,
Right. I was wondering
right?
about that, like how that has affected you, because how could you even have it last year and this year?
Well, we're having it virtually. We
Okay.
did, you know, with this platform, there are a group of different events.
Okay.
One is the main showcase where we show designers from all over the world, the designers of African descent.
Hmm.
Again, it's termed African Fashion Week, and a lot of people used to say, "Why Africa?" Because, and I say, we say, because we are all African. You know,
Right.
just because you're not from, if you could be from the Caribbean, you could be from South America, right? You could be from the continent. This is a platform created for our people.
Right.
So we want to showcase the talents that is out there that there's no place to showcase, right? So now, virtually, we've had the face of African Fashion Week, the face of AFWT. We've come together, we've pivoted, we've held, we did a private shoot, and then we showcase it. We had to be creative. We find a spot that's deserted with nobody else around. We just, in a bubble.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's last year we did the student designer competition. We got, we made it smaller. Instead of having 7 or 8 designers, we had 3, you know, last year, and then they had only a few pieces. But guess what? We couldn't bring real models. Well, we couldn't have the real professional models because we didn't have a
Yes.
lot of people
Yeah.
there. So we did.
Yeah.
I used my children. You know, they were the models because they were in my bubble.
Yes.
They were the ones, and one other one that wore the clothes. It worked, right? This year, as we're speaking, we're doing the student designer competition now. This week we have master classes that we're doing virtually. Every night there's a different topic.
That's
One
awesome.
topic, yeah, one topic is finance, teaching designers how to build their business because you know there's a business behind the business of fashion, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
Another
Yes.
night is branding and marketing. Another night is fabric and design choices. Another night. So every night there's something else. And these master classes are free. They're given
Wow.
to people by experts in the community who want to help. This is called, you know, this is what we do. We collaborate. We find ways to collaborate and bring things in and give value.
Hmm.
And so the pivoting, I'm sorry, water.
That's okay. Take your time.
The pivoting, this is what it's all about. Then there's the awards we have as part of that industry awards where we award people who are doing amazing things, whether you're a model, whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a
Right.
designer, you're a trailblazer, you're doing things. We have that award every year. Everything's going to be online again this year.
Right.
Um, so we just keep your eyes open. You'll see them. We're advertising them. I'm always putting them up on online
Yes, you are.
so you can see them. Sorry.
And I love that. And I love that. I love the creativity of what you guys have done. And if anybody hasn't seen African Fashion Week, we probably show a little bit of the video as we end up so you can see a bit about it. And go to YouTube. There's tons of videos you guys have on YouTube with all the designers you have. Like
Yep.
I'm like, okay, we could spend a whole show talking, showing videos of
Yep.
all the fabulous designers, and you have haute couture designers. And I
Mhm.
remember you've just stars. You've just some really
Everything.
great people from the designers. And you have this rental service as well, this luxury line that you're also a part of. I don't even know. You are your grandmother again because now you have
It's
this
again,
rental service.
we grow. We
Mavazi.
grow.
What is
Well,
Mavazi?
okay. Well, Mavazii it's a multi-brand showroom and fashion agency and rental service.
Right.
So let's say the same thing, we're seeing a need and filling a need. We have all of these designers that have launched through African Fashion Week, Toronto. They have beautiful pieces. They have extravagant pieces.
Right.
Some people The first thing that we'll solve is the environment. Some people don't want to wear these big, beautiful gowns and take pictures in them and wear them again and rewear them. So what we do, we have a
Right.
rental service that you can wear this, you can enjoy it, you can have the experience of what it feels like, wearing something like this, and then recycle it, and then somebody else gets to wear it. So that's the rental side of it.
Right.
In the showroom, and it's in a beautiful space that we have, it's a showroom. These gowns are waiting to be seen by buyers. So we are the liaison, the people that represent these designers, where buyers can come in and check them out. And if they want these pieces, they can order in bulk for their stores or boutique. If the designer is capable of
Right.
producing this many, right, depending on the where they are. It's also up. The other part of the showroom is stylists can come in and pull for photo shoots, their clients, all kinds of different things. So we do have a retail side of it as well, where people buy certain pieces. So it's a launch off of AFWT partly.
Hmm.
It also helps for the non-for-profit that we're working with, that we've started, where a lot of the women who we want to style can't afford clothing. We have a lot of used clothing that we create wardrobe for some of these women. So when they finish some programs and they have to start over and they need clothing for their
Hmm.
going out or for their businesses or for interviews, we try to provide those as well. So it's a combination of a lot of things and bringing it all together.
Listen, listen, Brenda. You like, I don't know when you find time to sleep. Even sleep. There's this
But it's not
video.
just me.
I
It's like
know.
it's not just me.
I know. I love this video. And I'm gonna try and see. Let me see if I can show this video. Hold on, guys. Let's see if I can share my screen here and show this video, because there is this video you did on Facebook,
Oh.
and I love
Oh.
I love this video. I am going to play this bad boy, and you gonna guys are gonna see. Let's see if it's coming up here. Is it coming up? Look at this, ladies. Look at this, ladies.
Detailed.
I love, 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 love that. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, because listen, when I saw you open that box, and let me tell you,
Ah,
people, go to Brenda's, even just go to Shop Mavazii and see
mhm.
the other shoe. And it comes with the little thing where you can have the extra
Crown and
tail and extra crown.
yes,
And I was like, what is this?
this designer, when I saw his shoes, I fell in love for more than one reason. Okay, I'm a little bit, he is from my home country, right? So I was like, what? This young man, he's young.
What?
His name is Daryl Rollins. Yes, he's a designer. His name is Daryl Rollins, and his brand is called Royal by Rollins. Now, he has a story behind this shoe, so you go Google it. I'm not going to that because we don't have a lot of
Right.
time, but the crown means something, the perseverance of women and making them feel like a queen because they are queens. When I saw these shoes, I'm like, I contacted this guy. I'm like, yo, you're from St. Kitts? I want to see the stuff. Like, again, this is a pivot. I don't usually do these videos. This video started
Wow.
something. The pivot is I usually have models to do these things. But this happened at a time where we were in lockdown. We weren't allowed to be around anybody. I said, well, you know what? I'll open the box. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Another pivot. So it worked out because I was so excited about it. I'm like, I'm not going to try to be anything. I'm just going to excited about it. I love the boots. I want to see them. I want to show them. And it worked. And those are some of the shoes that we have in our showroom because I wanted to
That
show talent, when I see young talent like that, when I see people who want to do things and do things so well, I'm talking, these boots are so well made that I just wanted to like walk around in them and just, so that was a little bit of, yeah.
Listen, I may not be able to walk around in them like you, but I sure want to sit in them. I was like, bring them to the set, and I'm just gonna
You
sit in
can,
them and be styled in them. I just love it. I just love it. So,
can,
and he's from St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm just like, yeah,
yeah.
this is fabulous. Congratulations to him. We need to find. So where does he live now? Does he still live
He's
at home?
in, he's in, no, he's in New York. He
Okay,
doesn't live, yes, yes. He's from and very close to where I live as well. A little in the country. That's where he's from. And that just made me like want to just,
I
but
hope he's
not just
just
because
slaying
of
it.
that, but
I hope he's slaying it in New York. I hope this young
yes,
man just goes higher and higher because that's
man.
fabulous. Just
Yeah,
as
I think
fabulous.
he has a new line coming out, and we're waiting to see what it will be like. But again, we're all trying to do something in this environment that we
Yeah.
are in, and hoping we can, do this. But
So where does this all sit? Because you talk about Afro Center. What is this Afro Center? Because there's some things that are sitting underneath this.
okay, so Afro Center is a non-for-profit that we created to kind of carry everything. Afro Center showcases art of all kind.
Hmm.
We put it on the forefront. People can see. I'm talking visual art, creative art, singing, music,
Hmm.
everything that we have to offer as a people, right? And in Canada, the Caribbean, abroad, anywhere that you are, we can showcase you. We can find a way to give you that voice and that platform. Raise funds. We have for teenagers. We have programs for them, teaching them levels, each one teach one. We have children who want to do
Right.
certain things and who are better. We teach, you know what I mean? We have a lot of seminars and programs and
Right.
stuff coming from that. Afro Center for the Arts helped to run some of the events like African Fashion Week Toronto through the
Okay.
funds, right? Um, and many other things that we hope to grow because we are a mind, body, and soul. We want to make sure that we are complete mentally, physically, and emotionally, financially, right? So if we can come together and build and teach as we build, then that's where I think we're winning.
How can
And
people, if anybody's listening right now to just this piece here, and because you so many different things that you guys are doing, how can they become involved or support your team in African Fashion Week, the Afro Center,
well,
Mavazii, and I'm losing track.
you could any way possible. You have a need, we can fill that need. Okay, and that's what we're here for. If you want a gown, you want to go out, we have the clothing for you. You can buy, you can rent. If you're a designer and you want to have your pieces showcased, we're here for
Right.
you.
Right.
If you would like to be a part of a help in building our community, we want to raise funds for the non-for-profit. You want to be part of volunteering with us at African Fashion Week Toronto or at the non-for-profit within community, the arts program, the youth programs. There are ways you call. We're at Afro Center for the Arts on Instagram. We're at
Right.
afrocenter.org. Check us out by email. And Ebony just put up www.aft, I'm sorry, afwt.ca. That's there. Most people know that one.
Yes.
We've got Shop Mavazii on Instagram. You've got me on Instagram. You could donate to our initiatives. There's so many ways you can donate. Just go on. If you
Okay.
can donate in time, in kind, monetarily, you'll see it come. You'll see it bear fruit. You won't
Yeah.
put the money and it just go away. You'll see it bear fruit all around
Well,
you.
well, we've been seeing it bearing fruit because what 8 years and you guys are doing this and the quality of what you're doing, and definitely got to show the African Fashion Week a video. But you know what? Let me before I go into the consulate part. Hold on here. Let's see if I can let's see if I can get brilliant again on my computer here and
Okay.
share one of the videos. Let's try this one. I don't know which one I'm pulling up. I had so many to choose from. I didn't even know which one to share.
Oh, there's Anita.
migrated from Ghana at a very young age, and I remember going to school and I'll put certain things on, and as soon as the students will see me, they will start to make fun, like, monkey sounds, and I'll look at them like, you guys don't know what fashion is. Africa is a huge continent of tremendous tribes and culture. When you go to the east, it's more linen, satins, gentle stuff, and when you go to the west, we have the wax and cotton. We have mixed all the cultures together, where you can see an Ethiopian designer using Ankara, which is a West African thing. So you will notice the colors are very blended now. We put it all together, we infuse it together. So you see the kente, you see the Ankara, the dashiki, and all those things. The look that I got on right now is the dashiki look. Now, when I go to places like H&M and I go to places like Walmart or Marshalls, I see dashikis. But when I look in the tag, it is not an African designer. So what I am trying to educate the generation now is that we have to embrace everything that is us and educate our children, just so we don't lose ourselves in our culture. Now is the time, because my mother's generation, they were trying to fit in. Now, for our generation, we are already fitting in. So it's not difficult for us to boldly wear our clothes and be proud, whether we're discriminated against or not.
I love that. And I love that video because it showed the history of it, And
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 that was one of the very
yeah,
beginning.
I remember. And I remember watching it, I said I could show all these new ones, and I know you have really great new ones, but sometimes people need to see the history. Hold on a second. It wants to show the other one. Hold on. Just gonna stop that screen there so that it doesn't come back up. Hold on. Yes, so sorry. Yeah, I just love it. And I love how you get some of the history of it, the fabrics, and the
Hmm.
continent. That was so rich. And I hope people will continue to go on and go on the YouTube channel for African Fashion Week and learn and see about the designers. And you see one more great comment. Great work you're doing, Miss Brenda. Your story is truly inspiring. Glad I joined today. I'm glad you joined today, Blossom. Blossom is one of those young models that I knew way back in the day. She's from Liberia. She's tall.
Ah,
She's beautiful. Now
yeah.
she's an author doing her thing. So
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
I love that. Just keep
yeah,
blossoming.
yeah, and that's what she's doing. She's truly doing that. And so,
Beautiful.
my beloved Brenda, you have pivoted yet again,
Yes, we have.
and you have been recently named as the Honorary Consul to St. Kitts and Nevis in Toronto. Woo!
Yes.
I say the woo again. I need to get the sound machine because my voice can't do it justice. Tell me, how do you feel?
I'm humbled. I'm happy. I'm very happy to serve.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just, to me, it's huge that they have this trust in me because I love my country. Right? I will tell the world everything I can about St. Kitts and Nevis. I could draw pictures in your mind. I want to find ways to support any way I can. So when they've asked this for me and I was approved for this, I was, in shock. Yes, but I don't even know. I know the word humbled. It
Yeah,
just feels like it's huge. It's a huge something to carry. I don't
yeah.
want to use the wrong word, but it's big and it's heavy, and I don't mind because I'm not carrying it alone. It's a group, it's us, and it's a joint
Hmm.
effort.
Hmm.
And as you can see, everything we do is collaborative. Collaboration is in the heart of every single thing when you talk about our businesses
Hmm.
and coming together, AFWT, Mavazii, everything like that. And now this. And this is a collaboration of our people because we have a huge diaspora community here. We have small islands. Both islands are very small, come together. It's a
Right.
federation of, very beautiful, the petite island. We punch way above our weight size because for the size that we are, we do many, many things. And we have very many creative people all over the world. We've got designers, business people, doctors, lawyers, scientists, everywhere. So as a diaspora, when we come together and we band together and collaborate together, we could do so much for our home countries. I'm talking about my country, but you
Yes.
for yours as well.
Yes. Yes.
Because Canada is full of immigrants.
Hmm.
We are a huge percentage of Caribbean immigrants, African immigrants. So me, I'm just one example of that, where my government or my people have given me this opportunity to do what I can, to serve and to find ways to promote and build us up together as a people. Like, I don't know, whatever I can is all I can say.
Do you have a particular goal in mind that you really want to achieve in this role?
There are many goals, but what I can say is I want to do what my country wants. Basically, I want our people to be represented. I want us to make a mark and make noise. You know, I'm in Toronto, and like I said, I grew up most of my life here, and there are
Yeah.
many of us here. So if we can come together, rally together, we can make a lot of noise, and we could do what we can for our country, right? Because could you imagine if all of us did that for
Yes.
all of the islands?
Be
Right?
those ambassadors. Yes.
We are all ambassadors. Some of us unofficially, some of us officially.
Hmm.
Whether it doesn't matter whether it's official or unofficial, we still have the same job to do. Right? This just gives me a little bit more reach to do some of the things I'd like to do, and I just want to reach out to our people and get ideas of what they want too, right? And how we can help each other.
And last month was, International Women's Month, and they had choose to challenge. What do you choose to challenge you to yourself as a woman? What do you choose to challenge the women in your country to do as you
That's
challenge
big.
yourself?
Yeah, because I challenge myself every day, and to not give up. But a lot of us women, especially in our country, they limit themselves into thinking that they have to perform a particular role, or they have
Hmm.
to live a particular way, or have a particular job when they might want to do something and they're afraid to do it, or they think they can't. For example,
Right.
IT. There are not a lot of females in IT. Well, more now in the younger generation, but
Yeah.
because they felt like they couldn't. Why not? Try something new. You can work in the fields of skilled trades, for
Hmm.
example, right? You can use your hands. You could make a huge living doing that. But because you're a woman, you feel like you can't do carpentry work, you can't do
Right.
masonry work.
Right.
I've done masonry work, another thing that I've done, right? Because I want to do things. I want to do things with my hands and I want to create. Why let that stop you because you're a female? You're
Hmm.
strong. Women, a lot of women lately have told me they want to go into computers, they want to go into IT, ICT. Go for it. Do
Yes.
something. Do
Yes.
it. Don't let anything stop you. If you identify what your strengths are and what your passions are, once you identify that, go for it and don't stop.
And so as we speak of women, and Mother's Day is coming up
Mm.
in what, almost a week, just week, 2 weeks.
Oh
What advice
wow.
do you have for? Yeah, I know it's right around the corner, my friend. April ends this week. April ends this week. Mother's Day is right on the heels of us. What about for moms, and moms like yourself, and who've gone through, what have you learned as a mother, and what advice would you want to share to a mom?
Listen to your children. That's the first thing. Give what you can to them.
Yes.
Be responsible for them as much as you can be. They have a mind of their own, as little as they are, from babies all the way up. They just want to be heard. They want to be
Mm,
listened to. They want to be hugged. They want to be held, and they want to be led. Don't give them the lead. Don't give them the rein.
mhm,
You have to lead. You have to be strong. And sometimes tough love, it means saying no, and because you're watching out for them and you're guiding them. My I feel like my children were given to me as gifts from God.
yes.
They He said, you are going to take care of them for me. You're going to bring them to a place where they can be independent. They can learn. You can teach them. That's all you could do. Protect them and teach them as much as you can. And enjoy every moment. Try not to be speak angrily, especially say things when you're angry. For example, when this pandemic hit, um, and I started seeing all the death around me and all the
Yeah.
illnesses, I was so angry because we were going crazy. And, one of them was leaving and I said something and I thought, oh my God, what if I never see her again? My child just left and I didn't tell her I love her. I,
Right.
I would never be able to live with myself, you know? And I make it a habit of saying, nothing you can do can make me love you any less.
That's right. That's unconditional
I
love.
will discipline you. I will tell you when you're wrong and I will be honest with you. I will guide you. I will always love you, but I'm not going to lie to you and tell you you're right when I know you're wrong. Guidance, you know. I mean, these are things I live by, try as best I can. That's all you could do.
Listen, those are some solid words of advice, and you speak life. You spoke about speaking life to your children and being conscious, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. We can speak life and not to speaking anger,
Yeah.
and as you shared earlier, and as I welcome everybody live onto the replay as we're starting to wind down this interview. When you shared about your grandma and your grandmother and what she instilled in you and her values and her intention and her work ethic and her resilience and her entrepreneurship and you know loving with a firm hand but enterprising. It speaks to even what you have grown as a woman and what you're imparting to your children. I want to just put this beautiful comment here. Emily Mills has joined us finally. Got to join us live. She's always watching on the replay because she's dealing with the kids. Thank you, Emily, for saying the content is inspiring. Glad to have the end of
Thank
a
you.
busy day. Greetings, Brenda. So that's a special
Hi,
shout out
yes.
to you, Lady Brenda, from Miss Emily Mills.
Yeah,
So,
hi.
so Brenda, what does victory look like to you?
Victory looks like happiness. It's not necessarily wealth, but
Mm-hmm.
success is different to everybody. Success for me and victory for me is healthy children, a healthy life, doing something that I'm proud of, leaving something that I'm proud of, leaving a legacy that, I can say I did that.
Mm-hmm.
My children can say, yeah, I'm proud of mommy. She did that. Helping people. And I know it can be corny sometimes, but if I could put a smile on somebody's face,
Mm-hmm.
that makes my day. I try to tell my girls, when you leave the house every day, try to think of at least one thing you can do to help somebody. Even
Mm-hmm.
if it's just to leave the elevator door open the
Yes.
door for somebody, say good morning with a smile, say you look pretty, that's a nice dress, something, because you don't know what people are going through, especially now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's victory, is getting it through the day and being thankful you get up the next morning.
And I love that. And you mentioned legacy when you spoke about victory. What would you say your legacy you'd want to be known for?
I don't know. Helping, helping people to grow, helping to build somebody up the way I was being helped to build up, people helped me when I was down, um, just helping, growing, because nobody can do anything on their own, right? I have a lot of sayings in my head from my grandmother and from the old elders who used to say things, they say, Jamaican saying, one cocoa full basket, one hand can't clap. There's so many things that I want
Right.
people to remember, that we're all one. If we help each other,
Mm-hmm.
we can achieve so much.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can do things by themselves. So
And
building, that's my legacy. Building.
building, serving, leaving that legacy. So, you know, if you were to look back on your life
Mhm.
20 years from now,
Mm.
what do you think would matter to you most?
Seeing the things I've started continue and to blossom and to bloom without me even doing anything, just to see the progress. Like I see some progress now, and I see, we've helped some people do things, we've helped some people build certain things, and as we build, I want to look back and see that grow and blossom. A community, our people grow to a place where we can say, yeah, we are here. and we are here to stay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, to your younger self, Miss B,
Ooh.
now think of your younger self going through something, and she, didn't know quite what you would be right now, where you would be right now. What would you say to that younger self? I don't know how old she was, but what would you say to little Miss B?
Mm. Slow down.
Ah.
I was always in a hurry. I made so many mistakes. I didn't listen because I knew it all. I would tell that younger self, slow down and listen. Feel what you feel.
Mm,
Allow yourself. I didn't allow myself to feel any pain. If I felt pain, I ran. Um, I was a survivor. I was a runner, but
mhm.
I can't even remember even crying until I had my first baby. I bottled everything up inside to the point where nobody knew I felt anything. I,
Wow.
nobody ever saw me cry. Nobody. Slow down and feel it. Live life and learn every day as much as you can. Learn something new every single day.
Well, as I hold this space for you, and I'm so grateful for you sharing, you have been transparent, you have been vulnerable, you have shared some of the most intimate details of your life here on Victory Speaks Tonight. You have spoken life into so many of us. What is there anything else you would want to share to anyone listening live and on the replay about Brenda, about your role, about life? The stage is yours.
Hmm. I don't know. I could tell you one of my favorite quotes that I try to live my life by, and I remember it and see it every day. Martin Luther King, he said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to take the first step."
Mm,
So, for those of you who want to do things and you're just afraid because you can't see a full plan, we can't see how it's going to end, you just keep putting it off and putting it off. Don't put it off. Just try it. Just try it. Take the first step. Once you take the first step, you're going to finish it. That's, yeah, what I'd say.
well, Consul General, Consul, Honorary Consul to St. Kitts and Nevis, congratulations. We are
Thank
wishing you all the best in this new role in your endeavors. I know you're going to continue to be an image consultant. You're going to still continue to be with African Fashion Week and Mavazii and with the Afro Center and the new passions. I know you're working on some things behind the scenes still that we still have to find out about, but I'm going to be patient and wait for the announcements to come out about all of that.
you.
I'm going to show you some of the love that you've just gotten here. Um, Solid as a rock. They just can't hold her down. That's who she is. Joan
Nicola.
Pierre, congrats again in your new role, and we all know that
Thank
you will make
you.
all your folks proud. Looking forward to working with you, and we're planning that trip. We are planning that trip to St. Kitts and Nevis. Let me tell you, for those of you who have joined us tonight, I so thank you for tuning in. It has been indeed an honor and a pleasure. And thank you again for Brenda for joining us. You can catch the show on the replay on YouTube, on Victory Speaks 7, on Facebook Victory Speaks 77. And guess what? Let me tell you what's coming up this week. I'm a little busy this week, so you got to tune in. And I hope you're going to follow Brenda. This Tuesday, tomorrow, catch me in Clubhouse with Coach Danny Stone as we speak about now is your time to live your dreams. And tonight, Brenda shared with us about living the dream, about grabbing it. And when life throws you those lemons, you got to make the lemonades and you got to bring the village. She used the iron sharpeners, the people that came in around her and supported her. I love the part in the story where she also talked about the daycare provider who came in early when she knew she had to go to school early. And so, those are the people. We have to be those people in our lives. Wednesday night, guess what? You got to tune in again at 8 o'clock. It is the wellness series, Minding Our Minds. And I'm going to have a team from Stella's Place. And they have the Get Real, a mental health film festival that they're launching in Mental Health Week, which is from May 3rd to the 7th. We are celebrating our community and bringing people together through the arts during a time of isolation. So that show, I'm going to have 5 guests, I think, that night on Wednesday night. So please tune in. And wait, I'm not done yet. This week is a solid week. Saturday at 7 p.m., we are going to get back to love. We are preparing, as we are in this lockdown, that we got to love. Love is in need of love today. And so, don't delay. Send it right away. We can sing a song, but, I am not Stevie. And so that's going to be with Coach Danny Stone, with Gary Beals, with Love Moore, and with Rudy Rayon, the trumpeter. So you need to register for that one because it's going to be on Zoom. And you'll see it on my post. I'm going to post up everything this week. If you want to know what's going on, if you want to stay in tune, you got to follow me on Instagram. You got to follow me on Twitter, Victory Speaks 7. And I am Nicole Waldron, your mental fitness coach and your voice of victory. Be sure to tune in. Be sure to tune in. Share with your friends. Share with your loved ones. You know what? Love is in the details. And we got to just pay attention to each other every day. Seek to have an inspired conversation with someone you love or someone you meet today or you have met along the way. Your conversations can be inspired by your truth, your love, your story. Make sure that they are meaningful and know that it can always start with a smile. May you see the victory moments in your week. Write it down. And I want to thank again my guest, the wonderful, the beautiful Brenda Foreman, for being with me on the show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to share the conversation with those who missed it because you know what? They need to find out about this supercalifragilisticexpialidocious woman who is ruling the world. She is changing the lives of many, and she is going to make such a difference in the lives of the people in St. Kitts and Nevis. I honor you. I salute you, my sister. You're such a blessing and such an inspiration. Thank you. God bless. Stay well, everyone, and see you maybe tomorrow on Clubhouse, maybe Wednesday on the show. Take care. Let your victory speak.